The story begins in the future, and the world is already in serious trouble. In the last 50 years, the human population has doubled, and food and clean resources have become harder to find everywhere. Scientists try to solve this crisis, and they create modified food and drinks that can be produced very quickly. At first, it looks like a smart answer, but changing nature only creates a bigger problem. Birth rates rise even more, and cities become crowded beyond control. A powerful leader named Cayman steps forward, and she introduces a harsh new law. Every family is allowed to have only one child, and anyone who breaks the rule becomes an enemy of the state. The government places checkpoints across the country, and every citizen must wear a tracking bracelet with their identity. Security officers patrol the streets every day, and cameras watch almost every corner. If a family is discovered with extra children, those children are taken away at once. Officials claim it is a kind act, and they say the children are placed in sleep capsules until Earth recovers. Few people believe that story, and most are too scared to ask questions. Far from the public eye, a man named Terrence receives shocking news, and his daughter dies while giving birth to 7 baby girls. Doctors cannot save her life, and the father of the babies is nowhere to be found. Terrence knows the government would seize them immediately, and he decides to raise all 7 in secret. To keep order, he gives each girl the name of a day of the week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. He teaches them one strict rule, and only the sister whose day it is may leave the apartment. Outside, they all pretend to be one person named Karen Setman. 30 years pass, and Terrence is now gone. The sisters are adults, and they still live by his dangerous system. On this day, it is Sunday's turn, and she steps outside as Karen. She passes through security scans calmly, and her bracelet confirms the false identity. Huge posters cover the streets, and they repeat the slogan, "The fewer family members, the better for the planet." As Sunday walks home, she sees officers raid a family apartment, and a second child is dragged away while the parents scream in fear. Nobody dares to help them, and the street quickly turns silent again. Later that night, Sunday enters a dark market as she buys a strange piece of meat that turns out to be a rat. In this world, even survival had become ugly. This is because only a small portion of edible ingredients exists in the world today. After successfully completing the identification process, Sunday enters her residence through the front door. An officer is surprised that the woman was drunk the day before, but she seems very normal today, and all Sunday does is smile. Upon entering the apartment, she has to go through an additional identification process, including an eye scan. Sunday removes her makeup after being safe in the outside world, and at night, the sisters gather for dinner. Sunday gives the sisters specific information from that day to ensure they know everything. Friday, the smartest among the sisters, reviews the progress of Karen at work. In a flashback, when Terrence was still alive, he often reminded his granddaughters that they would be stronger if they worked together rather than alone. He intended to find a field of work that allowed them to contribute their individual skills. Besides that, Terrence had to build a hidden room inside the house to prevent anyone from knowing that 7 children lived there. Every day, he gave them instructions. They had to hide themselves and their belongings within 1 minute if a stranger came to the house. Since school is starting tomorrow, the girls carry out an important task. Each day of the week, one of them leaves the house. After being among a large crowd for the first time, the young girl feels extreme anxiety as she steps onto the street. Because Terrence made changes to the identification bracelet beforehand, no one has reason to assume she has bad intentions. The grandfather reminds each child not to share information about her sisters with anyone before she leaves for school. The night session requires each girl to report the events of the day. At this moment, nothing has changed in the sisters' lives. However, the planet's overpopulation worsens the situation, and the sisters feel sick and tired of living this way. The one who resents it the most is Thursday, who has to be confined for 6 days a week. She clearly remembers one day when she was still a child. She managed to sneak out of the house to play, while Terrence did not realize she had gone. When Thursday returned on Thursday, Terrence saw that she had lost one finger, and he became worried. Even though the child screamed that she hated the name Karen, the grandfather stated that there was no other choice. This is because every action of one child affected the others. To achieve the goal of making the sisters identical once again, each of them had to lose one of their fingers. Terrence approached Monday, then asked her to show courage and be a role model for her sisters. And finally, she lost her finger. As a result, Thursday still experiences regret over what happened. After that, on Monday, I started to feel sick. However, despite that, she intends to be present at her workplace. At the identification checkpoint, she smiles at a staff member from the Child Allocation Bureau, who tells her that Monday is the most hated day of the week. During her trip to the office, she meets her rival, Jerry, in the elevator, a co-worker who struggles to get promoted alongside Karen. However, Jerry gives a hint that he possesses material that could be considered damaging to her. After suspecting that Jerry knows the secret of her twins, Monday becomes filled with suspicion. By then, it is already late, and Monday has still not returned home. Feeling worried and anxious, the sisters decide to locate Monday using her bracelet, but the GPS tracker she wears has already been deactivated. The next day, Monday is still not found. If Monday dies, then all of them might die too. The remaining sisters try to find out what happens to Monday, and Thursday instructs Tuesday to act as if everything is normal. After the woman leaves the building, an officer informs her that he did not see Monday return the previous day. Besides that, Tuesday also did not find any issues at the identification checkpoint. The first thing she does is activate her tracker, which allows her sisters to monitor all her communications. Eventually, it becomes known that Karen has received a promotion from her secretary position. The woman finds out that she celebrated her promotion by going to her favorite bar a day after she finished her work. Additionally, she realizes that Jerry observes her with a continuous gaze. After work, she returns to the same bar and tries to ask non-suspicious questions to the bartender about the previous night's events. It is discovered that Jerry quickly distracted her, so Monday only consumed one glass. Just before Monday left, there was a dispute between her and Jerry. The sisters begin to suspect that Jerry knows their secret. They have no other choice but to talk to their coworker until suddenly Tuesday sees a black vehicle. Two people block her path and ask her to get into the car. The bracelet she wears immediately stops, and because of that, the sisters cannot determine Tuesday's whereabouts at that moment. During this waiting period, she is sent to the Child Allocation Bureau. A security guard named Adrian observes this and appears concerned. Then Tuesday is welcomed by Cayman, which increases her terror. Cayman is amazed that the sisters can lie for 30 years as the same woman. She states that Terrence is a very selfish person, as indicated by the fact that his 7 grandchildren indirectly steal an excessive amount of food and drinks from ordinary people living on this planet. Despite Tuesday's best efforts, she cannot refute the assumption that she has sisters, and eventually, the officers do something to her eyes. Cayman then orders the arrest of the 5 remaining sisters, and the sisters realize that the worst possibility has occurred. Outside the house, they suddenly notice the presence of armed people. There is a leader who leads the raid. Then he walks into Karen's apartment easily, and it turns out he already has Tuesday's key to open the door. While the troops search the unit, the sisters take shelter in their private space. However, the commander already knows how to reach the hidden room and orders all the women to come out. But one of the sisters is not present. Suddenly, a fight breaks out, initiated by one of the sisters, because since childhood, the sisters have trained in martial arts to protect themselves. The enemies, who possess firearms, have an advantage, but together, the sisters manage to overpower the troops. Unfortunately, Sunday sustains injuries that make her unable to survive, and eventually, she loses her life in front of her sisters. Cayman closely monitors the children at the Child Allocation Center and insists that all actions taken are for the common good. After receiving no news from the captured sister, Cayman's mind shifts to other matters, raising doubts about whether her actions are right. Joe, who is her assistant, says that the parents of all these law-breaking children are the ones responsible for all this, not Cayman. Now it is time to focus on capturing all the sisters, but before they can do that, Cayman orders Joe to eliminate Jerry. At this point, the sisters feel uncertain about how to continue living. Security and detectors everywhere make it clear that they can only survive outside the apartment for 2 minutes. The strongest among them, Wednesday, goes to visit Jerry on Wednesday morning to find out what he knows, so the sisters will be able to see everything he sees. Jerry is surprised by Karen's appearance, as she wears different clothes outside of work. A sniper observes him from the adjacent building, but he does not notice at all. To obtain information from Jerry, Wednesday asks several questions. Her co-worker states that he will reveal his secret if she gives up the promotion to him. On Wednesday, someone who does not accept these points aim a gun at him. However, after being investigated, it turns out he has no knowledge about the sisters. But he does know about a dark transfer of a large amount of money into Cayman's account, and none of the 5 sisters know this information. Wednesday instructs Jerry to provide the contract he found. However, the man cannot do it because the sniper shoots him, and eventually, Jerry loses his life. The shooter cannot see Wednesday because she keeps avoiding shots. Many armed people surround the building, so Wednesday finds herself in a tight spot while military personnel begins searching Jerry's apartment. When one of them enters the small room, Wednesday attacks him and seizes his weapon, which only reacts to the owner's fingerprints. She continues her attack as another person enters until all the guards in the unit eventually lose their lives. While the commander issues orders for the second group to enter the building, Wednesday quickly sends Cayman's contract file to Friday and escapes through a third-floor window. Although her fall is very hard, Wednesday keeps walking. To avoid capture, Friday gives her some advice on where she can escape. The passing people interfere with the Child Allocation Bureau officers, and it turns out that the general public hates them all. Wednesday keeps pushing through the crowd while avoiding gunfire until she runs into a building. However, in the meantime, a knock is heard at the sisters' door. It turns out to be Adrian, a representative from the Child Allocation Bureau. Saturday welcomes the guest while two sisters hide. Saturday immediately realizes that she knows Karen and they are very close. While Wednesday hides from the armed people, Adrian is impressed with Karen's new style, so Saturday tells him that she has to go out for a moment. As soon as she arrives, she proceeds to the hidden room where the sisters hide. As part of their investigation, they try to find out which among the sisters is secretly involved with Adrian, but none of them has ever been with him. To find out who has been with Adrian, Saturday accompanies him as they leave the residence. As Wednesday continues to fight her enemies, she successfully escapes by running toward the rooftop and avoiding pursuit. It is clear that she has no choice but to jump to the opposite building, and the troops keep chasing her onto the rooftop, so she has to jump to another building to escape. However, in the middle of her jump, Joe manages to shoot her. By the time Wednesday secures her grip on the rooftop, Joe shoots her again to complete the task he started, and finally, she dies in front of her sisters. During this time, Saturday finds herself in Adrian's apartment, where she discovers a photo of herself with Karen. It appears that they have been in a relationship for quite some time. While sharing a tender moment with him, Saturday steals Adrian's data containing his bureau account and sends it to Friday. This makes the women speculate about who has done it. Taking advantage of the opportunity, Friday connects to the bureau's server using Adrian's bracelet. She successfully gains access, and the women access the security cameras installed to locate the capsule beds. Besides that, it turns out that Tuesday is still alive in a prison-like room. Because Cayman is launching her campaign today, Adrian has to go to work. However, he feels dissatisfied that his girlfriend spends only one day a week with him, which is Monday. As a result, the sisters realize that Monday has a secret relationship with Adrian, and at that moment, they believe that Cayman is holding Monday hostage. So they plan to reveal Cayman's true identity to the world, and the women also intend to rescue their sister. Sometime after Adrian leaves, suddenly armed men enter, preventing Saturday from escaping in time, and in the end, she dies. Since the armed squads return to the apartment, the two remaining siblings quickly leave, but Friday decides not to abandon her workplace. This is because she has to send the remaining evidence to her bracelet. So she does that and places a gas canister inside the microwave. It is her way of saying goodbye, and she begs her sister to do whatever it takes to save Monday and stop Cayman from her crimes. An explosion begins as the troops prepare to storm into the apartment, and finally, Friday dies. As soon as Thursday sees this, she immediately faints in despair. Adrian's radio informs him about the explosion, and after learning that the address belongs to his lover, he rushes to the location and finds Friday's body. His attempt to approach it fails because the troops do not allow him. Thursday attacks him upon his return to the vehicle, giving the impression that he helped Cayman's plan. However, his expression of confusion shows that he does not know about the siblings and has no role in the plan. Adrian finds hope when Thursday tells him that Monday, whom he loves, is still alive. So, the two of them secretly enter the bureau together. Adrian pretends to deliver Thursday as a corpse and takes her to a sleep capsule to wait for her turn to be put to sleep. To confirm the truth of what she sees, Thursday uses her bracelet to record everything she discovers. To everyone's surprise, it turns out that the sleep capsules are actually places for burning bodies. This means that none of the punished children could ever wake up to see a brighter tomorrow. When the bureau staff opens the bag, Thursday attacks him and pushes him into the incinerator. Adrian cannot believe that Cayman has been committing this horrific cruelty for so long. After finding out where her sibling's room is, Thursday goes there and discovers that it is actually Tuesday, not Monday. Meanwhile, Monday arrives in Cayman's room, where she is found healthy and unharmed. It turns out that they have been working together all along, and to achieve her goal, Monday is willing to sacrifice her sisters. This is because, after careful consideration, she believes that she is the only Karen who should remain alive. Thursday then wears Tuesday's costume and disguises herself as Karen to attend a social gathering hosted by Cayman for her election campaign. Meanwhile, Tuesday pretends to capture Adrian to reach the server room, where they aim to upload Thursday's video revealing the truth about the sleep capsules. By pretending this way, they manage to disable the guards in front of the server room. Sometime later, Thursday finally meets Monday. However, Thursday does not understand why her sister acts this way toward her own siblings. Monday points a gun at her face and says that she fell in love with Adrian after meeting him. From that moment on, her life seemed to change completely, and she believes that only one Karen should remain. As Cayman delivers a speech about the achievements of her child allocation scheme, a conflict erupts between the two sisters. Tuesday successfully enters the database and tries to access a live broadcast. Adrian fights with Cayman's people who attempt to disrupt their plan, and Monday continues to argue with Thursday. After some time, one of the sisters shoots the other until one of them comes out to watch Cayman's campaign event. Adrian ultimately manages to subdue his enemies, allowing Tuesday to start the live broadcast with a video of his sleep capsules, revealing the truth to everyone on the planet. As a result, amidst widespread horror, Cayman nearly loses consciousness. When she realizes that Karen is there, the woman removes her wig, revealing that it is actually Thursday, not Monday. The injured woman suddenly appears with a gun in her hand, but she cannot shoot, allowing Joe to shoot her instead. However, Adrian retaliates, and finally Joe dies. In her dying state, Monday remembers seeing her grandfather crying years ago in his final moments, and she says that she only tried to protect her siblings. To ensure the safety of her unborn children, she asked her sister to promise to take care of them. Monday then stops breathing, and in the end, she perishes. After the incident, widespread labor strikes forced the Federation to repeal the child restriction law, and Cayman awaits her trial with the threat of a death sentence looming over her. What Happened to Monday 2017 movie recap ends with Tuesday, Thursday, and Adrian using an artificial womb to nurture Monday's babies. And finally, they are born healthy.